Hello. Okay. Hi, and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo. I am the keeper tonight, the lucky Poptart, and it is just me right now, but I do have an angel sitting on my bed. Oh. It is just me right now, but I do have an angel sitting on my bed. And it won't stop. Great. Well, look, I've already fucked up for the night. How are y'all doing? Angel, you were supposed to say hi instead of giggle.
Hi.
Okay, you're the one that volunteered to come sit and talk with me.
I didn't know I was supposed to say hi. You didn't tell me what to do.
Well, when people introduce you, you're supposed to say hi.
I don't. I run away.
Okay. We probably should work on that. You're 16. Oh.
I usually introduce myself.
Oh, thank you, Assassin of the Grave. He put out the show everywhere. That's good. I don't think Johhny needs to be harassed, in my opinion. I don't know who you're asking. Yeah, sorry, it's a little boring. I asked if anyone wanted to join me. I even put the link out in StreamYards. So, yeah. I'm filling in for Della tonight because he's busy. He might show up later. He might not. We'll see what happens. Angel, are you? Why are you on your phone? You're supposed to be talking to me. You're failing at this horribly. You were talking right up until I hit go live, and then you all because. Okay, well, don't talk about that, but you can talk about other things, Boogie Butt. You're always so confident until I go live, and then you're like,
I don't like my voice.
Your voice is fine. Um, Costin is asking, are you as awesome as Della is evil?
I don't know who Della is.
Della Hayes is the guy that is always on here with me.
That doesn't answer.
Are you awesome? She's awesome. I think she's awesome. She's a little weird, but that's normal in our household.
Thing, so I don't know.
Huh?
They said that's an opinionated thing.
That's an opinionated thing. Yeah, that's true. Do you think you're awesome? Oh, there was a really loud pop in my ears. I'm going to let you in 1 second. Let me turn this down. Johhny's with us. But I do not want to blow out an eardrum when he says hi. Hi.
How's it going?
He's the cat.
He is the cat. Yeah, she got super excited. I was like, Johhny's with us. And she's like, oh. And then you popped up. She's like, he's the cat.
Yeah, I gotta fix this real quick.
What did she just say? I don't. She said she doesn't know who you are. She knows who you are if she heard your voice, Della. She just isn't sure about names. Like she saw Johhny's cat and knew exactly who he was because she recognizes him by the cat in hell.
Well, I didn't actually.
I don't remember my own friends' names.
Okay.
I don't typically check the Minions Discord, which I probably should more often. But as soon as she's like, oh yeah, I should probably get in the cat. I'll get the cat.
Well, very much. What's wrong, baby?
I missed. I have a favorite streamer and I missed his stream.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't actually let Angel watch our streams, so she's on them sometimes, but she's never seen one.
Yeah, it's good whole family entertainment.
Yeah, it's an ongoing joke that whenever I'm streaming, my kids will show up in the stream no matter what because is the cat in here?
No, the dog is.
Oh.
Willow won't show up. She's at work.
Well, she won't show up today, no. But usually one of y'all comes in because it's the parent thing. Y'all ignore me all day until I'm talking to people, and then y'all can't leave me alone.
I don't ignore you all day.
It never fails.
I bother you too much.
Only when I'm trying to sleep.
I try when you're asleep.
See, you hurt Della's feelings. How dare she not remember me?
Yeah, that's what made me yell. I can't even remember my own friends.
We are horrible with names, like genuinely.
I have nicknamed every single one of my friends except for 2.
Yeah, I have literally told everyone in the minions they could tell me their real name. I won't remember. I will have no idea. It took a year of Polly telling me his for me to remember it, and then I forgot it.
My Discord friend has told me his real name. I still call him King.
So how you doing, Johhny?
Oh, not too bad. It's actually one of my better. Well, I wouldn't say my better days. It was my better evening. I've been sick for a while, so it's.
I could understand that. My arms decided to stop working today, and I was like, well, that's different.
Well, parents are evil. Come from.
Yeah, he said parents are evil.
Why?
I don't know.
Because they're
WR?
parents.
My daughter would like to know why you think parents are evil. Hi, Pro.
Hey, Poppie. Sorry, I just logged back on like a minute or two ago and saw your message and was like, "Oh,
yeah." I was in full panic attack mode because it's been so long since I got on StreamYards. They kicked me off.
Oh, sugar. I'm sorry.
So I had to get back on the Gmail, but the password I had wasn't working, and I was trying, and I couldn't figure it out. And I was just writing like anyone. I was like, anyone.
Well, then I won't be flattered too awfully. How have you been?
Oh, I'm good. You're one of the first people I hit up. Della got back to me and gave me the password, and I'm like, oh my god. And then it did that thing where you have to they send the number to the text message.
Yes, the double authentication or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I made Angel go get me a beer, and I'm like, I remember why I drink on stream nights. It's not the stream. It's trying to get into the stream.
No kidding. Harry was saying last night, you know, he had posted a message and he was like, oh crap, I put it in the YouTube message. I didn't mean to do that. And I was like, well, you ought to be able to delete it. He said, I'm not logged into Google as minions because every time I do, it asks me for that second identification and then it fucks up everything else. And it was like, yeah, yay, Google. Hey, hey Johhny, by the way.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing okay.
Mine's kind of weird. Mine actually set up a profile in my Google, so like whenever I click on it,
yes,
it gives me the option of choosing minions or my own, and I'm like, why are you there? I didn't.
I know. I never asked for it either, and it did it, and I had to be really, really careful and remember to always get out as minions.
Oh, speaking of which.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Well, you don't have to yet. I mean, at the end of the stream, it's a good idea to do it because if you pop into another like YouTube chat and go to comment, you come up as minions of the zoo. And it's like, oh my God. That kept happening.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that kept happening to me until finally, like, I put a sticky note up on the wall going, log out, you dipshit.
Yeah, it was weird because when I was after my first time hosting, I go to do a Google search and I'm like, why doesn't I start off going to Twitter, and then I start doing what I'm looking up, and I'm like, why is it asking me to log into Twitter? Like, what's going on here?
Yes.
And then I'm like, I look over and I'm like, oh, there's a tiger over there. Oh no, like,
yeah,
I'll just retract this Google search here. And
it completely freaked me out the first time it happened. And then I was like, I still didn't like it. I would rather log in completely than have my dual identities, so to speak, at least back when I was hosting. But I miss my avatar in your spot, Johhny. I'm confused.
Well, there's always other people who are confused to see it. So
yeah, I know that was just that was kind of weird the other night.
By the way, Willow's cat was meowing at the door hardcore, so we let him in, and now he was just staring at the screen like, the fuck? There's a talking cat. What is happening?
No, like our cat Boaz. He's an orange cat, like Mr. Awesome. Lord, I think Flippington.
Yeah, Mr. Mr. Fluffing.
Yeah,
Mr.
like they are like almost one and the same. Like they could be twins.
Just a big ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he is very like him and our second eldest cat. She's only like a year and some, almost. Well, no. Wait though, I have like age amnesia. She's like 3 or 4 now. Like when we started dating, she was only just under a year, and she's very like when we first got together. I had my wife watch Constantine with me, and I didn't have a setup for it. So I just took an HDMI cable and attached it to my computer, set the computer on the ground, and we just watched it from the TV, like attached to the computer. And we noticed like halfway through the movie that her cat had sat in front of the computer screen watching the movie while we were watching it on the big screen.
That's amazing. It's funny what'll fascinate them.
And yeah, Boaz, he's our ginger.
I love the name. I mean, and so intensely biblical.
Well, and that's actually why my wife picked it, because it was Boaz and Macy. We had to adopt them both at the same time because they were attached. Like
pair bonded.
She like they weren't even together. Like they were completely separated as strays, both picked up from different locations. And when they put them together, she was attached to this cat. Like you could not separate them.
Mm-hmm.
And so my wife's like, she sends me a picture. She's like, hey, should we adopt these cats? And I'm like, you already have, haven't you? And she took a picture of them in the crate at the house. And I'm like, yeah, never mind. I got 2 more cats.
Yeah.
But she named him Boaz, actually after Boaz, the biblical figure. She was going to name her Ruth, but the name didn't match.
Yeah.
And so we went with Macy because she was actually found at Macy's.
Oh, bless her Lord.
So, but yeah, he's
the two we
very
adopted were pair bonded, but they were not of the same litter. They just were buddies. You know, they do that. Cats will form attachments at these shelters, and it's you just can't separate them. It would be it'd be immoral, you know, because they just pine for the other cat.
I'm gonna share this.
Okay, sorry that I muted for so long. So my cat came in, was flipping out, and my dog, the door was shut. She turned the doorknob and just walked in. And we didn't. Chris said he was convinced she could do that because last night he woke up and the dog and the cat were running all around the bedroom, and I was like, maybe she just, the door wasn't latched all the way. No, she just turned the doorknob and just walked in like nothing happened. And then Angel was laughing so hard she started having asthma problems, and she had to go get her inhaler.
Never a dull moment in the Poppie household.
And now there's a.
I was gonna say I got a picture sharing. If you want to show that.
Sorry, I'm special.
Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, he likes the Buddha pose.
I love that. I love it. It's just like, hey, why are you taking a picture of me in my recliner?
He was actually asleep when I started to take the picture.
Uh-huh.
Like head was to the chest, out. He was out. And it was funny because when he was a kitten, well, he still kind of is, but I used to like walk over and pet him, and he would not move. Like he wouldn't respond to anything. Oh. And so I would like grab his paw and do like the Hulk Hogan arm drop thing, where you just let it hit the ground. and then you pick him up and just hit the ground. And yeah, like you could not, unless you like jabbed him, you couldn't get him up. And he's still kind of like that, but yeah, they were inseparable, and so she's neurotic to an insane degree. She's very. I nicknamed her Spaz because like I'm trying to follow like how do we calm a nervous cat, and I'm doing all these things by the book, and it's been a year, and we cannot like she'll walk up to you if you're standing still or laying down. Like, and if you make any motion towards her, she's gone.
Yeah.
So I've decided that regardless of anything, I'm going to scare the shit out of this cat every possible chance I get.
Yeah.
Like,
well, our Loki gets frightened really easily. He's cross-eyed. So his vision's screwed up. And certain times, things, particularly peripheral for him, will just spook the shit out of him. And there'll be absolutely nothings. But all of a sudden, he'll just jump up, run around, and turn and look at you like, you were going to kill me, weren't you? And it was like, I not right now. I mean, you haven't given me cause yet today.
What's really funny is that her eyes are always, still to this day, they're in, I'm tired and I'm just gonna keep my eyes like this.
Yeah.
Or they're like dead open, just like nothing is getting past me.
Yes. Hypervigilant or slit-eyed. It's just...
she is like, she hears a sound and she already like hits defense mode. Like she is. And then and my wife took him to the vet to get the nails clipped and shots.
Mm-hmm.
She said that when they were giving her shot, that she just like, it was like someone who'd been tortured in a cell for years. She's just like, just do what you will. Just clip me and go.
Oh yeah, the drama queen.
Yeah.
I know you intend to kill me. Just be done with it, please.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh God, stop it. They're amazing.
I'm just glad she's not like neurotic to the point where she would just attack anything. Like her first instinct is flight. It is straight flight. Like a mouse could fart across the room and she would take off. Like it's hilarious and it's
sad at the same time though.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always that kind of heartbreak of what did they go through that they're so scared of their own shadow sometimes. It's just
and what's really funny is we got them when they were 3 months old.
Yeah, but they develop these fears quickly.
And that one, whatever happened, has stuck with her. Like it is.
Yep.
Like my wife will like. I actually had to feed this cat tuna. Like I fed her tuna fish, like out of the can.
Oh.
Like I'm just like, I'm gonna bribe this cat to love me. and actually, it worked for the most part. Well, hello.
Yeah, speaking of.
Sorry, we kicked the cat back out because he was trying to pee in one of my buckets.
Yeah, that's,
yeah, we can hear him in the background.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but he's upset, so he's at my door screaming. I think he quit now. He realized everyone can hear him.
Attention, me.
Yes. He's like, oh, they're talking about me. Good. They know I'm alive. He's not even a year old yet. And but his balls have dropped. So I'm trying to get Willow to go get him fixed because he's decided peeing on everything is the way to go. Yeah. He's very, very, very needy. and his mommy went to work. So he's really adorable. Just the constant tearing everything up and peeing on your stuff is not fun.
No.
And I know it's the hormones. I'm not trying to blame the baby. You know, it's just male hormones. That's what they do. Chris, when he was in his 20s, would get drunk and try to pee on everything too.
I just made it predominantly bushes or walls.
Dude, he got really drunk one night, got a sparkler, was running around with it, then got mad at it when it went out and stomped on it. Then he tried to pee on it. And then there was an inflatable snow globe, and he tried to pee on that. And my sister was chasing him around going, Crystal's going to be really mad at you. He's like, God damn it. He didn't ever get that drunk again after that. he was 21 at that time, so you know how that is.
Yeah. That is hilarious.
Everybody still loves the sparkler thing because my sister handed him a sparkler and lit it, and he got all excited and started running around with it, and then it went out real fast because you know sparklers, and he just threw it on the ground like a pouty kid and started stomping on it. I'm just like, is there any more sparklers? Chris is upset. It's just funny to see a giant 6'4" man look like a 5-year-old.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's like, dude.
This is a guy who could pick up an engine.
Yeah, but, you know, instead he's like trying to pee on a sparkler because
it went out.
reasons and feels and things, you know.
Yeah.
How dare it leave me?
I hope he doesn't hear me. He's gonna be mad at me. Like, how dare you tell people that? Because it was funny.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't do stupid things if you don't want me to tell people.
Some things are just funny, you know.
They are. Ooh, we're planning on getting married this year.
Good.
Nice.
Do you have any idea of the date or anything, or just?
Yeah, our anniversary that we already have. We're just gonna get married on the same one. So in September.
Oh, cool.
We're trying for this year.
Oh wait, next year is soon.
Yeah, next year is soon, baby. He's just like, I thought that was next year. I'm like, yeah, in September. And she's like, oh yeah, next year is soon.
Very soon.
Very, very soon, yeah. Poor Angel, she just got extremely panicked and confused and went, oh yeah.
My head hurts so bad.
I'm sorry. Yeah, she's been having breathing problems. She doesn't normally have it. Me and Willow have breathing problems, but we had a whole situation with, you know, my grandma's my last living family relative, except for the girls, and but she's very stubborn. She's an older lady, and she does have cancer right now, but she's been very independent her whole life. She fights everything. She's also a little bit of a hoarder, and so it honestly got so bad. I told her we had to go in there, and we went in there and cleaned the whole thing out. And I set up with her doctors for like nurses to come out and physical therapists to come out and all this stuff. And oh, there's a cat in a tree. And so we were cleaning out my grandma's place, and there was just so much stuff in the air that Angel started having breathing problems right then, and it still hasn't cleared up yet. Oh, if you hear her coughing, it's not her fault. It's mine. I shouldn't have took her over there, but I had a couple days to get it all done, so I just took everybody I could.
Oh, Camel's asking in chat if it's too late to click on the StreamYards link.
No, Camel, you can come in if you want to. We only have 3 people. That's fine.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you what the idiot Loki has been doing. This holiday, we have lights on the tree now, and that's it. We can't decorate it because we normally get a cut tree for that room. But, you know, with our planning to move in about 5 or 6 months, it was like, no, I don't want to like unpack boxes and then pack boxes and all that kind of nonsense. So we really didn't decorate for Christmas this year. And trust me, I decorate a lot, so it's very, very strange. But we were just like, look, let's just slap this artificial up and be done with it. And normally we have a Fraser fir, and they'd be a lot harder to climb for this little nonsensical creature.
Hold on 1 second. Sora, you can come in too, honey.
That's always, it's a challenge accepted.
We just got gender parity. Come on now.
Stop it.
Yeah, I haven't even put up my tree yet because I'm scared with the new cat. I'm like, oh.
Annie, he's trying to eat it.
He literally just knocked my tree out of the box and started trying to eat it. We haven't even put it up yet.
Yeah.
It's just in the living room, and he's decided it should be on the floor, and he wants to digest it.
The older cat that we have that we got from our neighbors will walk around, and of course there are needles on the floor now almost perpetually because of Loki climbing the tree. And Zizu wanders around and licks the needles up off the floor, and then waits till 3 o'clock in the morning and begins heaving and upchucks needles. And it's like,
oh no.
Yeah, great, thanks. You asshole.
I barely ever go on Facebook, but I did recently, and there was a picture of a person who put their entire tree in a cage.
Yes. Oh God, I saw a whole collection of pictures the other day. I think it was like a Twitter post, and it was Twitter or Facebook, and it was hilarious of all the ways people had baffled cats. Yeah. And there was just this amazing picture of this extremely grumpy. I'm gonna see if I can find it because I thought it was just ridiculously funny.
Hi, Sora.
Hello.
Hey, Sora. Hey, Camel.
How's it going? Oh shit! I was only doing that on quizzes nights.
Speaking of caged trees, that's exactly what my friend has to do with, because they have she's a 4 month and maybe a 4.5 month German Shepherd puppy. That's very leggy.
Look how pissed off that cat is. I just love that.
If that doesn't say "how dare you," I don't know what does.
I know
that cat's offended.
Yes,
that is an offended cat.
They had the whole tree up at one point and realized it wasn't working and just took everything off of it except the top. And it was like,
I know. So it looks like the Christmas coat tree. It's the damnedest thing. It tickled me.
I've had too many animals for too long to even bother getting a tree.
Yeah, I can see that.
It just sucks because last year I finally got the tree I wanted. Chris got me a black Christmas tree and everything. I have a lot of decorations. We even bought new decorations for this year. And then I'm like, the cat is so gonna fuck this up.
Yeah. Yep. Or the cat will tempt the dog to do something.
All right, and the dog ignored it completely last year. She was interested when the lights were turned on, and then she got bored and wandered away. She has the attention span of a goldfish.
Yeah. It's amazing, and it our house just feels weird because nothing's decorated, but I'm like, on top of having to repack all the stuff, on top of packing other things, I just thought, I don't want to have to keep cleaning up crap that he breaks. I'll just be mad all season. So I'll just go through pictures of Christmas past and go, oh, that was really pretty.
Oh, I won't buy anything that breaks anymore. I had cats growing up. My mom was a little bit of a cat hoarder. We had like 12 cats in the house. So, I learned, and she insisted on buying the little breakable ones every year. And I'm like, why? She's like, they're traditional. And I'm like, yeah, and they're just going to be all over the floor soon.
Yeah, but Shiny Bright Stock was great, They have the built-in customer base, people with pets.
So I always buy like the plastic ones.
Yeah, I've got a lot of like resin ornaments or wood ornaments or things like that really it takes an awful lot to break them.
Yeah.
We have a good collection of embroidered ornaments, so felted.
Mm-hmm.
Some are quite old, some are just recently bought in the last few years. They're really nice. They're a great alternative to like the heavy heavy breakable ones that you can get.
They are, and I used to put white lights on one tree and color lights on another tree, and I now just do pretty colored lights because that's what I grew up with. I didn't grow up with all the tasteful Williamsburg Christmas stuff. And
Same.
I'm like, no, colored lights. And I've already started shopping for outdoor lights for the hood because those old farts over there like decorate outdoors like crazy. And I'm like, ooh, I can get like C7s and wrap the columns on the front porch. That'll be fun. Creed's like, what's this wee shit? Because he just knows. Excuse me, tall person, would you?
That's his job.
That's right.
I'm voluntold.
Yeah, you're over
Start
6 feet
stringing
tall.
blood.
You're screwed in life. You know. It's just, will you get that for me? Yeah.
We have these really fun. Besides just like the outside lights, there's these spitty lights that project on the side of the
Yes.
house, but it's just snowflakes, so it's not too obnoxious because you can get some of the really fun ones that kind of blind everybody. But these ones it just looks like falling snowflakes. It's actually quite nice. And it's effective for like the side of the house where you'd have to like actually get a ladder to hang anything. So we don't do that. So it's just you aim it there and there you go. Some nice lights.
That's good for like over a garage.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Apparently, that really annoys airplanes.
Oh,
Like, because
Well,
there's some people that like if it's properly pointed, they don't have to worry about it. But there are people, of course, who
the point is straight up. Yeah.
Yeah, they point it straight up, and so they're the same. In some regions, they're the same color as the landing area. So it's like, yeah, we kind of need you to not have one of those.
Yeah, but they also have like problems with laser pointers too. People being pointing those up at them.
Yeah, that is so dangerous.
Oh,
God, that is so ridiculously dangerous.
There's usually a few times per year we get a local news story about that happening, which is still amazes me. But there you go.
Yeah, some schmoo gets arrested over at the airport because they thought it would be a real riot to, shine a laser pointer in a cockpit window. Thanks.
Well, what I'm trying to figure out is if those things can reach an airplane,
yeah,
in the air, how am I not blind? Because me and my friends used to be assholes to each other. I would shine them right into each other's eyes.
You're lucky. I just put it down to luck.
Or
a lot of them are.
I have superpowers that I did not know about.
Well, yeah, and I mean they're not YAG. They're not
lucky.
YAG lasers. So
let's just say I wouldn't do that nowadays.
Oh
No.
God, no.
Yeah, things I no longer do because.
Yeah, the teenage eye can probably handle it.
There's a reason why I have everything on dark mode.
The over 30 eye is
different.
hell of a thing.
Oh, honey, wait till the over 50 eye comes. You'll enjoy that. And the over 60 is even better. Oh my God. I'm like, okay. I had to switch Twitter to dark mode. I have Discord on dark mode. It's some stuff I can't stand in dark mode. The contrast is not enough for me to read.
I don't think there's anything that bothers me on dark mode.
I'm a little photophobic anyway, though. I worked in this building that was white stucco, and I swear to God, in the summer, we'd walk outside on our break, and it was I looked like the Revenge of the Mole people. I mean, I'd step outside my eyes, and I look like Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, no, I go outside, I can't see anything. Everything just turns white.
Mm-hmm.
Chris has to walk me around unless I have my sunglasses.
Well, is that scene from Escape from Alcatraz?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Well, you guys are so sun sensitive. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. No, I can't even have bright lights in the house.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because when a coworker asks, because I'm allergic to slightly allergic to like strong lights and mostly the sun. She just dead ass looked at me and was like, "Do you have light bulbs in your house?"
Oh.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, do you use them often? And I'm like, well, at night. And they're usually probably a lower wattage than you would use. But they're there. They exist. I can't see in the dark. I'm not like, a vampire. I just can't do lights. That was one of the
I still have some pretty good night vision.
Enjoy it. I envy you.
Well, like I said, I spend most of my time in the dark too. So
yeah, I mean, if I ever have to go to wearing glasses full time, not just reading glasses, I intend to try to get the amber, because those are just amazing against headlights. Absolutely amazing.
I used to. I hate driving at night, mainly because of deer.
Yeah,
but I'd always keep my eyes out for them, and like my friends would be driving with me, and all of a sudden I slow down. They're like, "What are you doing?" And then the deer just runs out. And they're like, "Oh, I didn't even see that."
Yeah.
And so when I was getting my eyes checked, I asked him if there was any kind of particular, like, if there's like something in the eye that kind of like filters light better with, in the night versus, versus like just a normal, like if there's kind of like if it's just like a particular like default setting for eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's looking at me like I'm probing for superhero questions.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I just want to know how good my eyes are. It's really, that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, it's amazing though what amber does, because it reduces glare tremendously.
Oh, I could have used that driving back and forth when Nana Cam was in the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to throw sunglasses on. I had a pair of they weren't really heavily darkened sunglasses that were an amber spectrum. And if I worked under fluorescent working in retail, and that fucks your eyes up too. And then driving at night, I put the amber sunglasses on.
Well, there was a stretch of road that was under construction that I had to drive, both ways. And so, like, there was one area where it's down to like one lane. You've got concrete dividers on either side, so you've really got no wiggle room. And yeah, people driving by on the other side, it seemed like they were every car, didn't matter if what make or model, they're all at just a perfect height to shine their headlights right into my eyes.
Yeah,
and it's like, I really hope I don't hit a bump or something right now, because that would have ruined the side of the car I was driving.
A lot of people wear amber tinted for shooting, so it does help sharpen vision. Sorry, Sora.
No, that's okay. I was just gonna say that I do hate. I love driving at night. I always feel like it's nicer, and then especially if you have good music playing, I always enjoy going for night drives, and it's usually the newer souped up cars driven by scaredy cat drivers who are scared of the dark, who keep their high beams on the whole time, or new cars with newer styled, very powerful headlights that are incorrectly aligned.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of being angled towards the side and down, so you see the road, they're angled up, so they're exactly at your mirror. So I mean, like, yeah, you can flip it so you have like the darkened, the rear view mirror, you can like click it down so it kind of reflects from the bottom. But there's only like on the fly, I can't go and start, at least in my car because it's not automatic, I can't start adjusting my side mirrors. So I'm like, I drive duck down to the side, like basically driving blind to anything behind me, because otherwise I would be blind by the reflection of light.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you need these bright lights for? You're in the city. There's no darkness. I mean, it's dark, but you're not in the woods or on the like, you know what I mean? You're not in the middle of nowhere. You don't need the bright lights on.
Yeah, we have the issue with deer, like Johhny was saying, and that I find exhausting about driving at night, because of the hypervigilance that you develop,
Yeah.
looking out for any motion on the side of the road. And I even do that if I'm a passenger. And driving down when we go to the beach is just awful because people will walk along the roadway at night and they will not always walk facing traffic
Oh,
like
yeah, I
they're
know.
supposed to.
Hmm.
And then their bicycles out on the road because why not? And then you've got the drinkers that are loose. And then on trash day, all the trash cans are right along the side of the road. And you can't tell a trash can from a bicycle from a person in some of the lighting because some of the areas are darker. You know, if the houses aren't occupied, there's not a lot of ambient light. And it's just like, God. I mean, like, even a 4-mile drive can be exhausting. Because as the passenger, I'd be like, all right, I'm on point over here. I'll be like, bicycle, pedestrian, no, trash can, no, shit, mailbox. What the fuck? At least there aren't any damn deer down at the beach.
See, I've had more trouble with deer in the daytime where I live than at night.
We get them both times a day. Obnoxious little, it's not their fault. Their habitat's been chewed up by development, and there are too many of them. And people in our neighborhood, we had a controlled bow hunt one year. And I mean, I was all for that. I was like, man, if you want to put a tree stand up in my backyard, have at it. Because you can't gun hunt in the city except with special permit, and they only usually do that out at the airport. But then a bunch of people in the neighborhood were like, I really like the deer.
Ugh.
And I'm like, there are too many of them for the geographic space that they're in. You're condemning them to starvation and disease.
You like the deer until it goes to the windshield of your Beamer.
Yeah, or they eat every plant off your property.
It's something a lot of people don't seem to understand because they just see it hunting as like a mean, evil thing because you're killing something. But in a lot of species, since there's not a lot of predators around,
right,
they'll go haywire to the point they're starving to death or they're attacking each other constantly.
Or they're genetic mutations that are absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's not the whole purpose. They increased the doe limit in Virginia finally because a doe in her lifetime will produce about 13 fawn. And the white-tailed deer, got repopulated in Virginia during the Depression. Somebody had a bright idea. Let's bring more deer in. Well, they took over the state and they don't have any predators except cars and humans. It's just really obnoxious.
One other point to Poppy, what she was saying is they also don't realize, the people who like the deer, they don't realize how much hunting contributes to conservation financially.
Right. Yes. Oh, God. I mean, the licenses alone go toward the maintenance.
And don't forget the tax on like hunting equipment.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I mean,
same here, actually.
Most hunters are superb conservationists.
Part of getting your hunting license here, I found out, is it does go, part of the tax will go to these governmental conservation programs. So a lot of the gun clubs as well, because you have to, part of your membership will go to that as to go towards conservation, even if you're not in the hunting club, you're just like a private shooting club. They have to pay into that. Which not a lot of people know, which is kind of sad because they're the ones who are helping with wildlife. So
I can't remember what that was, like the percent. I want to say it's like 11% or something like that. It's a pretty good chunk whenever you're buying hunting equipment and guns and ammo and stuff like that goes towards conservation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, like, it's getting so flooded population with deer, they start they're getting their own viruses trying to wipe them out. They have that one that makes them rot while they're still alive.
Yes.
Oh,
Like they're zombies, and then there's another one now where they get these giant like wart boil things all
Yep.
over them, all over their eyes, their mouth. Like they barely look like animals anymore.
It's
mm.
tragic. And I mean, the whole purpose of culling, a lot of people don't understand that applies to a fair bit of big game hunting in Africa. A lot of that has to do with culling the older animals.
There was one I remember specifically, a guy named Corey Knowles. He shot a rhino.
Mm-hmm.
He was on Rogan's podcast talking about it years ago because he got a bunch of backlash for it.
Yeah.
People were like, "Why would you pay?" You know, because I think they paid like $300,000. He raised $300,000 to go shoot this animal.
Yes.
They're like, "Oh my god, why would you?" You know, like, well, the reason why he did it was because that rhino was past his. You know, he was too old to be mating, and he was killing other members of that rhino population, which was endangered.
Yes. You know, and there, look, there are unscrupulous guided hunts.
Oh
in
yeah,
Africa. Of course, there are unscrupulous guided hunts, but there are also a lot of very scrupled people who are maintaining these conservation lands and trying to preserve the balance of the critters in those lands. I mean, there it's you know, people always characterize it as trophy hunting. You know, if you go in a hunt big game like that, most people do want a picture. You know, as a memento.
My cousins actually went and did that a while back.
Oh, speaking of trophy hunting, I saw there was a law in the UK proposed that they wouldn't be allowed to bring back any of the trophies from hunts abroad that were like from endangered or near endangered species and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous because the conservancy hunts are very important. People just don't understand how difficult it is when there have been so many pressures between the animal world and the human world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, encroachment. That the only good conservancy you can do is to maintain manageable herd sizes so animals don't start starving, or you don't end up with some of the perverse behaviors of too many animals within a small area, like you were saying, Camel, about the older rhino. It's just wiping out members of his own community.
Yeah, it was. I think he killed a couple of males and a female. You know, and this was was it the white rhino? I can't remember. It was a really small population of rhinos left that they had.
Right.
So he raised like $300,000 for the conservation effort to go on this hunt, and then after killing the rhino, used the meat to feed a village.
Yes.
I thought it was a black rhino.
Oh, it may have been. I could have got it confused.
Because I remember that being an uproar on Twitter for a long time.
Yeah, this wasn't like that Cecil the Lion hunt where it was like, you know, high fence or whatever. You know, this is one that, you know, that animal needed to be put down for the, you know, safety of the rest of the population.
I'm looking it up now. It is a black rhino.
Oh, right. Okay. Well,
in Namibia.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's speaking of overpopulation. Didn't I swore I saw a story the other day about feral hogs in Texas?
Yes. In East Texas.
That's always a thing.
They're overrunning the neighborhood, and I mean, I'm like, that's when I'd get out the Baconator and go to work.
Well, do you want to know how bad it is? These motherfuckers. Okay, so about 5-6 years ago, they got tired of trying to just shoot them all and, you know, get them. I mean, they have whole teams of people who go out on jeeps to try to kill these things. They fed them Agent Orange. I don't know the technical term, but Agent Orange, the thing they used in Vietnam to fuck up people.
The defoliation chemical?
Yes.
Wow.
They fed them shit tons of that. Guess what it did?
Made them nuts?
Turned their meat blue.
Yeah.
They're still alive. They're just poisonous to eat now.
Great.
Holy shit.
Like I wanted to
That backfired.
I'm not a hunter. I appreciate people who do go hunting. I had neighbors who've given me, venison and stuff like that. Pretty tasty. I don't go hunting for the same reason Ron White doesn't. It's too early in the morning. It's too cold, and I'm lazy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If I could
agree
go
with
out
this.
hunting after like the crack of noon in the summertime, I'd be on it. But this middle of winter, 4:00 in the morning bullshit ain't for me.
The ass crack of dawn in November is not my idea of a good time.
No,
I'm the only one in my family who actually hasn't gone hunting, and my dad is he's volunteered to take me a couple times, but I just have never had the time to do it. And that, including taking the hunter safety courses and all that. And, I'm not just going to go, yeah, I'm sure he can teach me how to do some stuff, but, I'd rather go through the lessons and get all that stuff done.
Yes. For,
get it done properly.
For your own, for your own well-being. I don't disapprove of hunting, as you can tell, at all. I don't want to do it because I'm a squishy girl who'd be like, oh, poor, sad, beautiful baby. But at the same time, I'm not opposed to eating tasty, tasty venison.
No, trust me. Anyone who meets a boar wants to kill a boar.
Yeah. Oh, and the boar. I mean, boar are incredibly dangerous.
They're aggressive as fuck for no reason.
Yeah, I would love to go like helicopter hunting like Ted Nugent.
Yes. Although one of the funniest stories I heard is when Toby Keith was doing the movie Beer for My Horses that Nugent was in. And what they did is, because Nugent is similar to me in that he doesn't shut up. He talks constantly.
Wait, Nugent was in that? I never actually watched that movie. I knew Willie Nelson was in it.
He only had one line.
Mm.
And it's because he talks constantly that they made his character a one-line guy. But they were shooting this scene, and he had his bow with him for the scene. He was actually shooting arrows in the scene. And they called a wrap on the scene, and he notches a bow and fires across the set and yells, "Catering," as he nailed a wild hare. that just came by. But yeah, there's a whole scene about hunting in that, and it is hunting feral hogs. Toby Keith and Rodney Carrington are supposedly out hunting, but instead they're like half drunk off their asses, and they're taking a piss at the back of the truck, and they're bitching about the fact that there aren't any hogs. They've been out there all damn night, and there are no hogs, and an entire herd of hogs are trotting in front of the truck.
That sounds like a couple Oklahomans.
Yeah.
Out on a hunting trip, half drunk.
Yeah. I don't see no hogs, and there's a whole herd of them, but they're busy pissing the beer out,
Me and Far were talking like months ago, and she calls Texas Little Australia.
Uh-huh.
It reminds me, like, something people don't know we have that occasionally you have to go hunt is emus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But they're not here naturally. Back in the 90s, people thought emus were going to be like the next pig.
Yes.
Selling
emu
meat.
farms. Yeah.
So we ended up with a bunch of emu ranches because we're Texas, and we have a lot of open area where people make ranches. So we have shit tons of like absurd ranches. I think one has zebras.
Mm-hmm.
Like, rich people got a lot of money and went, you know what I want to grow? Llamas. And
I don't know if you guys seen the picture, but I made a picture for Terry about the something about his prime minister, but it was after his tweet about the health minister. I made this for him.
Okay.
Ah, I love that.
But yeah,
I have been having a lot of fun with Photoshop.
That is
One of these
great.
days I will learn Photoshop.
emus are incredibly hard to kill, it turns out.
Uh-huh. They found that out in
Devil
the Great
birds.
Emu War.
I know, when she told me about that, I laughed so hard. And then, like, I went down into a city that had emus running around, and I was like, oh, okay, I understand this now. They're demon birds.
Yeah.
I give Terry crap about it all the time. It's like, when you guys were fighting the emus, Oklahoma was going through the Dust Bowl. If we had emus at that time, there wouldn't have been a war. There would have just been a giant cookout.
No kidding.
Everyone would be super happy.
Because you can shoot those birds like 10 times in a row and they're still running around hitting things. Like, I don't know what it is. Like,
it's a matter of caliber, my dear.
It doesn't seem like bullets bother them all that much. Like, they just get pissed off.
A little bit like bear. People who will go wandering around in the woods carrying low caliber weapons, and it's like, I don't know why I wasn't able to kill that bear with a 22.
I remember going through training, and there was a kid who sat next to me in the cubicle next to me, and there was 2 other people. One of them was his fiance, and another was someone from Virginia, I think. And
I'm sorry.
Our trainer was from Texas.
Oh.
And he brought up something, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of like the Great Emu War, and everyone chuckled like it was some sort of joke, and I'm like, no, that's a real thing.
Yeah,
like that was a real thing. And the trainer's like, yeah, have you guys never heard of that? And they're like, no, we thought he was joking. I'm like, no.
Oh, my friends, let me pull up the Googles for your enjoyment.
Yeah.
The whole government had a war with a bird and lost.
Mm-hmm.
An entire country fought a war against a bunch of giant retarded chickens and lost.
Basically, yes.
Small dinosaurs with attitude.
They had the biggest one, and then they had a smaller one, and both of them they lost. I'm like, y'all had 2 wars with birds. And you lost.
Wait, there were 2? There were 2 wars? I only knew about the Great Emu War. There's a lesser one?
Yeah, there's a lesser one. They tried again quite a few years later, and they still couldn't figure it out. I was like, you think you would have learned from the first one?
I know, really. It's kind of like, think nefariously. Instead of actually going into conventional war with China, just ship a bunch of emus.
Could we catch the emus to ship them?
Okay,
maybe they'll volunteer.
This plan.
Okay.
Originally, they blamed the coof on a bat.
Yes. That's true.
We
could all have the emu flu. This would not be good.
Oh. Well,
I would think twice about giving China any other animals to tinker with.
And is it just me, or do emus look like they should have arms? Like they had arms at one point, and they outgrew them? Because they look like they have shoulders. Like when they're running around and moving, it looks like they have shoulders. There should be arms poking out of.
Like I said, they're just really small, feathered, pissed off dinosaurs.
Like they creep me the fuck out. Chris saw one, and also I have a obsession with shoebill storks. And he was like, "What is your thing with giant, scary birds?" He looked at the, an emu the first time on the computer, and he's like, "That is a fucking dinosaur." I'm like, "Basically, yes." Then I showed him the shoebill, and he's like, "That is a Muppet dinosaur."
It is. It's absolutely, the shoebill is an amazing animal.
I love them. They're great, and they make a great sound when they're talking.
They do. They're kind of creepy, but at the same time, they're just amazing. So
they're so heavy metal.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I do love that you approach them and bow, and they'll bow back, and there's that feeling of they're not of this world. They're amazing birds.
I did that at the aquarium we have here because they have a shoebill. He was ignoring everyone. He didn't bow back at me, but he actually blinked his eyes and turned his head and looked at me. And I was like, I got him to move. So I look like a dork.
Me.
I look like a dork, but he acknowledged me, and the girl behind me got all excited and came up and did it too. Because he had not moved. He's a new exhibit. I don't think he likes being there.
But they're almost like, if the aliens sent an observer class to Earth That's what the shoe bill would be.
Yeah.
They're just watching and taking notes at night when everybody else is asleep. They're like sending missives off going, "You will not believe this."
Yeah. I really like them. Special interest for special people. Yeah, they became one for a little while when I realized what they were. I was like, oh my god, these are so cool. And they look so terrifying. But I went on a weird shoe bill rant. Sorry. Hi.
No, they're not. It's not. They're just amazing.
It's an interesting bird.
Yeah, they always have 2 offspring, and then they pick out the strongest one and take care of it and let the other one die.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like you said, metal birds.
Yeah. Apparently, their natural habitat doesn't have enough resources to raise 2 babies at a time, but they always have 2 babies at a time. So they pick the strongest one, and then the way the one becomes the strongest is like they pick on each other, and the one that wins is the strongest. So from birth, they're trying to beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah, well, it's kind of an interesting evolutionary survival tactic to keep the species function, at prime number.
I wish my mother subscribed to that parenting philosophy. I'd be an only child right now.
I would never.
Never too late, Camel.
God, Sora, that's dark.
I'm about to say, minions of Zoo do not agree with this.
Yeah, I would say it is too late, Sora. They're old to buy guns now.
Oh.
Shit. But can they?
Please do not kill your siblings. This is not a promotion for murder of siblings.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish, my mother brought the other ones home. Just like, welcome to Thunderdome,
Only the strongest survive.
Oh, there was one time she got tired of me and my sister fighting when we were like, I don't know, like 3 and 5 or something like that. I was 5 and she was 3. My little sister was a biter.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So like, eventually she got tired of me and her, bickering and whatnot. So she just pushed all the furniture in the living room back. She's like, all right, have at it. Like, I'm tired of hearing the bickering. I'm tired of hearing the tattling on each other. Just, get it out, get it over with. And, because my sister, likes to fight dirty, she jumped on that opportunity while I was still kind of incredulous. Because I'd had 5 years of being told, like, you don't hit people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, like, she tries to do like a single leg takedown. I wiggled out of it, and just I gave her the Heisman, because I had the longer arms, and it was just like a cartoon. Like, she's just sitting there swinging away, can't reach me, and so I got her, just
I like that. The Heisman.
Yeah.
It's just the palm out.
Yeah. So I just got my left palm on her forehead, and she's just sitting there swinging. I was like, my right hand's free. Fuck it. Pop, pop.
Now, I remember I took a daddy boot camp class for when my mother and my kids got pregnant. And when they
boot camp.
It was called, it was daddy boot camp classes. They gave you a bunch of like stuff to practice, like changing diapers and stuff like that. And they're like, okay, well, we need to show you first, how do you hold a baby? And so they need a volunteer. So I'm
grab
like,
them by the feet, right?
Well, no one's volunteered, so I went up there, and I'm like, I'm going to be responsible, do all this stuff, and I grabbed the baby, and then I put the baby's head in the elbow area, and I got it close to my body, and I put my other arm underneath, and everyone's like, and the teacher's like, oh, that's perfect. You know, that's the way you do it. And I'm holding on to this kid, doll. And I'm like, well, it's not real. How can I make people laugh?
Mhm.
Oh no.
So I did
I
the
gotta do an end
Heisman.
zone dance.
I did the Heisman.
Yeah.
And all the guys like tried so hard not to laugh. All the women were horrified.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
And my my girlfriend at the time, she's just like, I have no idea who this guy is. Not a clue.
You just walked in with me.
He's just sitting next to me. He's not the father. Like,
God, I would have laughed because I would have recognized it. I would have been like, oh, the Gail Sayers dad position.
but just it was funny because all the guys had to like can their laughter. Like
Yeah.
they were just it's definitely that's the definition of a male joke.
Well, I mean, honestly, like
It's a
you're
hand
doing the
fan
thing with a
joke.
doll. I would expect a man to do the Heisman or something. You know, if he didn't, I would boo.
Yes. It's like, come on, this is
not
the
a real
perfect
kid.
opportunity. It's a doll.
I'm not gonna do that to an actual baby. Like
I know it's amazing how literal people will be. Like, if you do that, that's just terrible. Oh, come on.
I mean, I'd be tempted.
I'm not gonna grab him by the ankle and not gonna grab him by the ankle and spin him around like the terrible towel. Like
That would be funny.
I mean, I'd be tempted.
You do that after the bath.
Yeah.
How else is gonna dry him?
it's called centrifugal force. Let's do this.
I don't know. We should look up
Crowd
shaken
spinner.
baby syndrome statistics in Pittsburgh and see if there's a.
No.
You gotta break it down between like when the Steelers win versus when they lose.
Yeah.
You get the real numbers.
The Palomalu years, bad for kids, great for dads. Yeah.
The pre-Palomalu, pre-Roethlisberger rape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, they're like
Big Ben, he picked the wrong year at the end of which to retire. God, talk about going out looking like a somebody who stayed in the game too long.
I think South Park nailed his character perfectly. Like they had him. It was the episode where they had all these celebrities going to like saying they were like sex addicts.
Oh yeah, like they had like Bill Clinton and Tiger Woods and everything.
Yeah, and they're like, well, what do you do when you see a woman? And they had Roethlisberger's like, do you lock up in the bathroom?
Just
And like, just it was a it was ad lib. Yeah, it's not what he said, but it's pretty close. Like,
yeah,
and they just had him like they're talking like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, with as many concussions as that guy had, like, oh man. But no, I was a huge fan the last 3 years, and then the stories came, and I was like, okay,
3 stories, in pretty quick succession, and it's like, yeah, there's a aching similarity in these. Now,
well,
I mean, I know that there are fake stories like that. I mean, I get that. And Roethlisberger would have been like the perfect target for it.
Yeah.
But, there's that when there's smoke, there's fire. I don't know. I kind of have the feeling that they would have.
Well,
by the third time, there would have been reasonable investigation into it.
There was one story that I heard, and it kind of cast like a shade of doubt on the rest of them for a bit. And one of them, I think it was the 3rd or 4th allegation where the story was kind of there, and then there was a meeting with the father, and then you never heard of anything ever again.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, she fucking lied. Like, it was my daughter will drop the charges if you if you settle now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, there's no way. Like after a talk with a father, then he's like, just go walking away. Like no, yeah, that was a huge X to doubt on that one.
I've had my suspicions about all the accusations, only because even the NFL can only be so dumb and blind to certain stuff. I mean, like Ray Rice's wife, you just can't explain stupid. You can't fix it. If somebody cold cocked me in an elevator like that, number one, I'd own them, and number two, that'd be the last they'd see of me. And she married him. She married him after that. And it's like, sympathy evaporated. I mean, I understand there are people with, problems who think they deserve to be hit and that kind of thing. But holy crap.
Well, and there was the one that was just recently. I can't remember his name. He played for the Rams, I think. Was the Rams or I can't remember.
He played for the Rams and the Jets. I forgot his name too.
Yeah, but
he beat his old lady in front of their kid.
Yeah. Like on camera.
That was horrible. That was so bad. That was
like
he threw her into the TV screen in the wall.
Yeah.
And then and just let it.
Wasn't there film? There was film of it.
Yeah.
Their baby was sitting right there on the couch watching all this.
Yeah.
Like 5-month-old baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, people. I mean, my problem with the NFL is they have tolerated some stuff.
Well, I think that guy was out of the league already.
Ray
Rice was, still in his prime of his career.
Yeah.
But it just, it also tends to turn me against teams.
Yeah.
Because it's like if you'll tolerate somebody like that in your team, and the really weird thing is I am not going to apologize for beating children. Okay, please get this clear. But there was a measure of sympathy I had in the Adrian Peterson story.
Yeah.
Because I had a feeling that he got his ass beat the same way. He didn't know from.
See, I had a measure of sympathy for Ray Rice until he dragged her out of the elevator.
Yes.
Because she hit him first. She was swinging with both hands.
Oh, yeah. No, I know she
concussions as that dude had, I'm sure, being a running back to that point. You hit a dude in the face like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've only had like one concussion.
Uh-huh.
Right? My brain has not been scrambled nearly as bad as some of these pro football players.
Right.
And man or woman, if you hit me in the face,
I'm swinging back immediately.
I'm gonna have to
it's gonna be
myself
instinct.
Not to hit you back.
Yeah, I mean the statistics on domestics are kind of alarming anyway. As far as estimates of who swings and throws objects and that kind of stuff first.
My dad raised me zero tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
So
my mom raised me equal rights and lefts.
My dad, he's like, there is absolutely no way you're hitting the girl.
Yeah.
Unless, and this was the only stipulation he had. If they hit you in the privates, that's it. Then it's fair game. But as long as they don't touch that, you don't touch them. And so, I carried that with me. Even when my sisters would come up and they would just full on Charlie Sheen, right hooks every time. And anytime I raised my hand, my dad would, punish me, admonish them. And then, that just sort of carried with me. And so, up until I was 23, 24 at a house party of a friend of a friend's. And she got to the point where she started playfully hit me, and I'm like, okay, whatever, take it with a grain of salt. And that upgraded to the Gibbs slap, for those who have watched NCIS, the
over the head.
open-handed slap to the back of the head.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm like, yeah, it was cute before, you can stop. Which full on went to punches to the side of the head.
Oh, no.
And my friends are like, why are you sitting here? Like, why aren't you hitting her? Like, do something. And I go, it's not my house. I'm not going to, because I know what's going to happen. I hit her, and then everyone jumps on my ass.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends are like, dude, we're all watching her do this. Like, there's no way that you would be able to like hit her and not have us, at least separate you. That's probably all that'll happen. And I'm like, no, it's just, I'll take it as it is. And it finally got to the point where she hit me once, and she's like, yeah, you're a good bitch. And I stood up, and this is all in like that super adrenalized slow-mo. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I stood up, and I looked at my friends' faces as I turned to her, and it was like watching a kid open his Christmas gift, and he hits the bike he's always wanted.
They're just sitting there like eyes big as saucers, just cheering.
Yeah, they are ready to go, and I cock my hand up, and I just full on deliver, and just before like I was able to collect myself and stopped just at the bridge of her nose, and I'm like, not anymore. And I just sat right back down next to her, and she just sat there just dumbfounded for like 5 minutes, and then just
it's because she watched her life flash before her eyes in that moment.
She started crying, and then she's like, I'm going upstairs, and then just left.
Yeah.
And my friends are just like, they went from sheer joy to like, God, why? And I'm like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, and
I just couldn't do it.
And you absolutely know if you hit her, she called the cops.
Oh yeah.
And you'd get blamed.
I would have been arrested regardless.
I never that whole Moldy Locks thing that went down when she hit that guy with that uppercut with a weighted glove, and he turned around because he didn't see who hit him. She blindsides him with an uppercut with a weighted glove, and he turns around, and you could see him pull his punch at the last second.
On her ass.
That could have been so much worse.
But you saw him pull his punch because he was able to identify it was a woman right before he made contact with her forehead above the bridge of her nose. And he actually guided her to the ground to keep her from crashing.
And that's part of the reason why I'm glad up until this point I have not had any major altercations with a woman.
Yes.
Because like I said, Mama Camel taught me that if a woman puts herself in a man's position, you lay her ass out like a man.
Well, I have always despised. I understand the muscle mass, the bone density, the weight, the height, all those differentials. But I should not be allowed to assault someone. The idea that you can tie someone's hands behind their back based on their sex. They can hit you, but you can't hit them. Girls know that guys are taught that, which is why they hit guys. We know that. And so don't hit people. Just
by my nature,
right
I just try to avoid scenarios where there's a possibility of punches being thrown.
Yes. But just don't hit people. How difficult is it not to hit somebody?
I know there was a whole conversation on TikTok because this guy was saying, equal rights, equal fights, which I get, but he's gearing up like he really wants to hit a woman, and like if you want to be like a man, I get to punch you like a man. I'm like, hey, can I just bring up the fact that it is also still illegal for you to punch a man?
Yeah.
Like, it is still legal because if you punch a woman, you're gonna get in trouble. If you punch a man randomly, you're gonna get in trouble. Like,
or you're going to have absolute hell beat out of you. Either way. I mean, it's like, I just don't do it.
just everybody stop wanting to punch each other for no apparent reason. Like, if you have a really good reason, okay. But if you're just rearing to fight someone for nothing, like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Only reason I have is self-defense.
That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
I have no problem with self-defense, but the thing is if you are so angry that you feel that you're losing physical control of yourself, you've got to walk away.
Yeah.
That's the lesson people need to learn. Walk away. Don't pay attention. I mean, if somebody calls you a pussy or any of that stuff, ignore them. Just walk the hell away. They're not worth it. I mean, it's just, I have no problem with self-defense or defense of the defenseless. If somebody is striking a child, or beating on a child, I mean, boom, rage goes in my head. I don't know what I might do to them. I'm certainly not going to film it and put it on TikTok.
Yeah, that's stupid.
And I don't know what I would do in that scenario. I hope to God I never am in that scenario. And I mean, there have been instances where I wish I were a guy, so that I would have equal footing if it came to physical confrontation. Because I'd like to, I've seen scenarios that I've wanted to confront, and I've had to think, very carefully that I could not. But it's just don't fucking hit people.
Yeah. I don't know why that seems to be like a really hard concept though for some people.
No kidding. I mean, it's just,
it's like we're all modern adults here, for the most part. Like we don't need to just go on the warpath constantly for no reason. Like,
yeah, and I mean that being said, I've seen boys roughhousing, and you can let them roughhouse up to a certain point, and then the plug needs to be pulled. Like I was watching a bunch of kids in a pool, their friends' children, and they were mouthing each other and shoving each other in the water, and they were picking on the smallest, and then they started mouthing at each other. And the verbal insults started flying, and they got more and more heated. And I was like, oh, God, you guys are so tiresome, listening to this. And then I saw somebody pull back their arm to throw the punch. I think they were surprised that the old lady could get out of a chaise long and empty a pool that fast. Because I was on my feet and I was like, that's it. Out of the pool. Separate corners. No talk back. Not hearing it. Not hearing it from any of you. Now, the one that they were picking on hadn't been involved in this. And he was like, do I have to get out? I was like, no, enjoy the pool. And the other two had to go off and pout.
No, when you start getting physical.
And the one that was going to throw the punch was the one that did the super pout. And, of course, everybody, their parents had heard. And I was like, shit, at least I know with these people that I'm not going to get scolded for reaming out their kids. Because the dad of the one that tried to super pout, the one that was going to throw the punch, just stepped outside and said, quit being an idiot. Which completely spiked his son's guns. And it actually was pretty funny. Just shut up and quit being an idiot.
See, I've had scenarios where kids are acting a fool with their parents with them. It's like, are you gonna do anything about this? No. Well, shit,
Yeah.
And sometimes, like I've told the story a few times before, but I was working at a gas station, and this grandmother comes in with her grandkids, and one of them's like a preteen boy who I used to call him Pigpen
Ew.
because he looked like the Peanuts character, just a trail of dust following him, and the little girl looked like that little girl from Finding Nemo tapping on the fish tank.
Oh yeah.
Except she was cockeyed. and she was worse than the dirty kid, like at least he kept his hands to himself and everything. One day I catch this girl climbing the slushy machine like a jungle gym. And grandma, she's then there's like, get down from there. And like finally of her own accord, she I guess got tired of, playing around on it. And they left. And then shortly thereafter, this woman comes in with her son, who's around the same age as the girl, 5, 6-ish. And he starts acting a fool. I'm sitting there like just, because it's the middle of the shift. I've still got stuff to do. And I'm tired of, cleaning footprints off the slushy machine. And thankfully, because this was a mom, not the grandma. So she's like, she grabs him by the shoulders and she says, if you don't, straighten up right now, I'm going to ask that nice man behind the counter if I can borrow his belt. I'm going to whoop your butt right here. And the kid looks at me, he kind of turns his head and looks over at me from behind the counter. And I said, well, ma'am, I am sorry to say that today I am not wearing a belt. And this kid, he just kind of starts getting this smile, starts curling on his lips as he goes to look back at her like, what you going to do now, huh? But before he can turn back and look at her, I was like, but I will gladly let you use my shoe. And I start kicking off my size 12 Nike. And this kid's eyes got as big as saucer plates.
Yeah.
I was like, you are my favorite parent that's been here thus far, lady. Beat that kid's ass. I'll turn the cameras off. Go to town, Mom.
It's just...
It's annoying when you have to like not parent other people's kids, because that's not true, but like actually having to point out, hey, I know this is probably a blind spot to you, but your child's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
So maybe like, I don't know, tell them to stop, or there's going to be an incident. I've shouted. I'm that person who's going to get punched one of these days because I yell at people's kids. But I've shouted at a kid throwing rocks at a duck pond because the little shit was aiming for the ducks to harm. And I actually told him, yeah, you run to your parents, bring them here. And of course, here I am thinking, yeah, let's encourage me getting attacked. No, nothing happened. Little shit was too chicken. And I've shouted at a mom and her kid who was running around. We have a bird, weird, like tropical bird sanctuary thing exhibit that you can go see all sorts of parrots. Most of the birds that are there have been brought in as like surrenders. And this little twit, who must have been 10 years old, this wasn't a young kid, was like shouting, going from thing and complaining, like, because you have to kind of walk single file. She was complaining to her mom, the birds aren't doing anything. And I lost my cool.
Yeah. You run out of patience after a while. I had to jerk a book out of a kid's hand in the bookstore because she had it by one of the covers and was swinging it around, and it was like a $45 hardcover.
Oh, yeah.
Kid's picture book. I mean, it was one of those special edition blah, blah, blahs. And I mean, I had to jerk it out of her hand, and the mother turned and looked at me, and I just looked at her sweetly, and I was like, I need to check the binding because if it's damaged, you just bought this. We had no such policy. But I was like, fuck you. You're lucky I didn't cold cock the kid with the book. Because and
then charge you for the damage to the book.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I mean, my mother could side-eye me. And I'd just be like, okay, okay, whatever. Freezing my tracks.
Oh yeah, my mom. It was the side eye with the pursed lips.
Oh, my mother's lips would disappear. They'd fold back. And if her lips disappeared and she side-eyed me, I was in deep shit. Mom used to get so mad at me because I remembered every single time she ever smacked me. And I said, you know why I remember them? It was a matter of learning that I remembered them. I remember what I was doing that led to you losing your temper. You know, I didn't get spanked but once in my life, like a formal over-the-knee spanking. And it was because I just broke my poor father's patience. My mom had had some surgery and he was having to look after me. And I was just being a kid. I was just being a complete dick. And he snapped. And he was trying to get me to be quiet. And I remember thinking at the time, this isn't the way. Because the minute you spank me, I'm going to cry. Extra loud.
Oh, Spud Gun brings up a good point too. Like the side eye and the pursed lips, that was like stage 1 of knowing that you were in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then stage 2 was like the first name.
Yes.
Stage 3 was the first and middle names. And if you got to the full name, like you just run away at that point. You don't even bother.
That's DEFCON 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got to go join the circus because I'm done here. Yeah, the name I was called is from my middle name. So I was never called my full name. Ever. But of course, I was a well-behaved little child. I mean, I got over that as an older person. But, I saved all my misbehaving for later in life. I was a good little only kid.
Well, I hate to be a pain in the butt, but Angel just came in to tell me that Chris is falling asleep in the living room. So I should probably let him get to bed. And
yes.
So maybe we could wrap it up now. I'm sorry. But it was nice to stream again. So hi.
Yay.
Thank you for having us on. It was really a pleasure to hear you hosting again.
Thank y'all for coming. I will be hosting, I think it's next Sunday too, because Della will be busy with work again. After that, I'll probably just jump on a stream every once in a while. But
Good. We've missed you.
Oh, I know. Real life's just gotten really busy with my grandma.
Yeah, I'm
Same
sure.
Here.
I'm sure it has. That's my reality. You're probably only ever going to see me around on Tuesdays and sometimes Saturdays because I actually have to now that they're officially going to start the house.
Yeah.
Knuckle down and clear the shit out of this place. It hasn't been struck by lightning yet. God doesn't love me anymore.
I hate moving. I've moved a lot in my life, and it's always been it's funny because even if we're moving to a better place, I throw a hissy fit. I don't like change. I don't like having to pack everything. I don't like having to unpack everything. It just everything about moving sucks.
Yeah, I moved a lot in a short period of time, and then haven't for a long time. It's been 20 years since we've moved, and I'm not looking forward to it, except that if God is good to me, this is the last time I'll ever move, other than somebody carrying me out the front door feet first.
Well, yeah, and it's nice once you're all settled into the new place. It's just getting to that point.
Yeah, I want it to be over. Then I'll be all happy and shit. But until it's over, it's like
you're this stress.
And I'm doing there's so much to do that I'm not doing anything because I can't even figure out where to start.
Yeah, it's that freeze.
Yeah, it's option paralysis.
I get that a lot with everything. It's like I have so much to do. Like I'll be like, I have 19 things to do today, and then I'm just sitting on my bed like, oh fuck. Like what do you start on, right?
Because
Yeah.
each single one feels that it's important, and it's like, well, if I start on this section, it'll help me get to this section. But before I can start on that section, I have to do 5 more things.
Yes.
And it just there is no start.
Yeah, there isn't. And so, in other words, I just need to start doing it and really hyper compartmentalize it, like one drawer at a time. That kind of compartmentalization.
I have to have Chris just tell me what to do to start it. I'll just be like, I need to start. And he's like, okay, well, go back up all this. And I'm like, okay. And I'll do that. And that usually gets me going.
Yeah. Yeah. I might actually have to call on Cree to do that. We're both kind of bad in that we'll be like, okay, we need to. And he'll be like, yeah, we do. And I was like, well, then you first. It's just, you go. Then I will, because I'll feel guilty.
You start doing stuff and I'll feel like I have to.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I am yawning my ass off. So I'll go ahead and close up. Do y'all have any last thoughts?
No, man.
Well, I could go with the Chris Rock line from Head of State. Hit your kids, it helps.
No, God. Not mine. They're vengeful.
Grip malt liquor, just like Mama used to make. Whose Mama? Not my Mama.
I can't say that I don't know where they got that from. My first stepdad spanked me really bad, and I put Jello in his fake legs.
Oh God!
I was 3.
All right. That needs to be a longer story.
Yeah.
Okay, so quickly, when my mom had me at 14, she married this older guy who had gotten hit by a train when he was 16, and it cut off both his legs. Well, they got tangled up in the wheel, and the EMTs had to cut off his legs. And so he had fake legs. Offshoot, the first way I learned to walk was on my hands, because he didn't wear his legs in the house. So I forgot what I did that time. One time, I know I knocked over one of his German mug collectible things, and it broke, so he whooped me. So I got on the table and started kicking him across the room. And so that time, I don't know, I got in a lot of trouble, and apparently I went into the refrigerator. It wasn't Jello, it was jam. It was strawberry jam. I went in the refrigerator, got the strawberry jam out, and just shook it out into both his legs. So when he woke up in the morning and put them on, strawberry jam just went up all over the place.
Oh God!
I got in a lot more trouble, and my mom's like, I swear to God, like, I'm surprised you didn't die as a toddler, because every time you got in trouble, you just did something 95 times worse.
So, in other words, the apples didn't fall far from that tree, did they, Poppie?
No. Their dad had such a hard time with them because he was more of a corporal punishment type. I'm the one like, okay, we have to sit down and have a very long conversation. Prepare your next hour. And they're like, oh, God damn it. Yeah. They don't misbehave because they just don't want to have to talk to me for that long.
My dad used to say that he wished to God his parents would whip him instead of talking to him, because he felt like such shit by the end of the talk that a beating would have been easier.
Yeah, that's how I work with my kids, because my kids, like, if you spank them, they take that as a challenge.
Uh-huh.
They're like, it's on now.
I got the worst of it. I got an ass whooping, then I got a talking to.
Oh, oh no, that's cruel, man.
Yeah, because they'd make me sit down after they beat my ass.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, if there's ever not a topic, just ask me something from my childhood. Apparently, it was really weird, and I didn't notice until I was an adult. Because I say sentences like that, and people are like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah. I'll never look at strawberry jam the same way, I promise.
It freaked him out. He thought he hurt his legs or something, and then he realized it smelled like strawberries. And so my mom thought that was the funniest thing. She told everybody until I was like 20.
And then you tell them that strawberries is what rotten flesh smells like.
Oh, gross.
Apparently, I also caught a nun's bed on fire one time because she pissed me off when I was 4. So.
Oh my god.
She said I
What
had a
did
demon
she
living
say?
in me. She told my mom I had a demon living in me.
And you proved her right.
So I caught her bed on fire.
Yeah. It's like you're like a kid out of a Stephen King novel.
I didn't kill anyone.
Yeah.
The thing that confused them is I didn't have a lighter or a match or anything, and they're still not sure how I caught the bed on fire. That was great. Okay, we gotta go.
I'm gonna have interesting dreams tonight.
All right. I just took my sleeping pill, so I'm going to go out before I start saying anything crazier. Thank you so much for joining me. I was kind of scared nobody would come. So I really appreciate it. And it was nice to be back, but the zoo is closed. Everybody have a good night.
Good night.
Night. Merry Christmas.
Bye, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Bye. And we